The North Star that guides the direction of my work is a single phrase. If my neighbor is unwell, then so am I. And I'm here to advance the idea that our blue economy must include human health at its center. For strong coasts are built by strong, well people. When we hear blue economy, we think about energy, innovation, and technology tied to our oceans. It sounds like opportunity. It's the future. When we talk about it, we talk about marine biology, robotics, artificial intelligence, and eco-friendly materials. And all those things are so important. What we don't talk about enough is the human being that is the backbone of the blue economy. The very people for whom blue economy has become a loaded phrase. You see, the fisher folk tell me when they hear it, they don't picture opportunity. They picture being left behind. They picture a future that dishonors their mothers and fathers before them. And their cries are joined in unison across the Gulf South, from the Houma people to the Bayou La Batre folk and beyond. If we want a future that works, we must include human health in the blue economy. This is a matter of national security, really. Our Gulf blue economy is deeply tied to our most basic human need, our food. And our U.S. food system costs us $3 trillion annually in diet-related diseases, lost years of life and productivity, and damage to our land, air, and water. Poor nutrition alone is the culprit for tens of billions of dollars in preventable healthcare costs. Our communities have become disconnected from our local and natural resources, resulting in many of us not eating enough plant-based foods and seafood. These numbers aren't just abstract. They're in our homes, they're in our hospitals, and they're right here on our coast. We are killing Mississippi one plate at a time. And here's the irony. Along this very coastline, Mississippi once held the proud title of seafood capital of the world. Our communities built livelihoods, culture, reputation on feeding the nation from our waters. That is not just about economics. That's about health, nourishment, and belonging for our communities. So, if we want to talk about the true cost of food, we cannot separate it from the true cost of the very people and places that once sustained us. Our coast, our seafood, our communities are the beating heart of a Mississippi blue economy, and their health tells us whether we are truly thriving or simply surviving. Let's take a moment to anchor ourselves in the perspectives of our Gulf Blue men and women. Close your eyes and dream with me for just a minute. Imagine your life in a coastal town in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Salt in the air, bridges and waterways on every turn. Your boat going in and out with the sway of the tall grass and the moving tides. You work and play in those tides. Your life, your soul, your legacy, ebbs and flows with those tides. Now let's snap back to reality. The catch isn't where it's supposed to be. Floodwaters have come again, bringing who knows what with them. Your children don't see a legacy to carry on. Your community demonizes you for trespasses you don't own. Whispers are emerging that the nutritious food you provide is not safe to eat. And your workforce is battling mental health issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, or can't take a day to visit the doctor. This is not a story, it's a reality for too many coastal communities and right here in Mississippi. We often debate how to protect our environment and our coast, and we need to enrich that conversation with protecting the health of the very people that depend on them. What happens when our blue workforce, the people who are feeding our families and economy and making our dreams reality, suffers early on in life from diet-related disease? What happens when our workers don't have access to health care? What happens when our next generation of workers is weighed down by caring for ill parents while trying to raise their children? What happens when new industry moves in with big promises and they realize there's too much sick and not enough healing to go around? What happens when our neighbors leave the Gulf South because they're beat up and they've had enough? The truth is, the blue economy is built on people, and our people carry a legacy of feeding families with the natural resources our Gulf provides. Protecting that legacy means ensuring that communities are fit and fueled for a day's work, that they can afford the very food they harvest, that regulation doesn't crush their livelihoods, and that they aren't demonized for global problems beyond their control. Our coast, our seafood, our people, and our community are the beating heart of our blue economy. Working with my Southern Miss friends towards inclusive innovation, we've noticed several disconnects, and we've started to wonder, how are we a food-growing state, a Gulf state, and the hungriest state in the nation? Why are we giving our people with the poorest health outcomes the cheapest food? Why can't our people afford the food we harvest in our state? Why are we running over our own to feed the world? Do global food systems wreak havoc on local food systems? Who's the winner there? Let me not get too far out there. Let me come back to Mississippi. For when we set our sights to solve the world's problems, that takes us further away from home. And right here at home, our people need to be well to build, innovate, and adapt. And that is a current that flows across all communities that I've worked with. And let me tell you, our legacy workers and blue workforce, they're not stuck in the old ways. They are running our coast. They are supporting restaurants and local tours. They are building boats unique to our area. They are fabricating and welding things to keep the coastal workforce moving. They are building safer, more efficient nets. They are working with the ocean to innovate food systems. And yes, it's true, many of them have left the industry in the past 20 years. But if we act quick, they're still here. And this is innovation in action. Legacy workers building, creating, and proving that resilience is people-powered. So let's build on what we know and diversify our approach. Gulf Blue economy resilience needs healthy people. If a hurricane hits a coastal city, who recovers faster? Is it the one with the strongest seawall, or is it the one with the healthy people, the most connected networks, and access to health care, good food, and water? Studies show that purpose, inclusion, and social support are critical for human health. When you disrupt people from their roots, dismantle their social networks, and fly in with solutions that don't consider their perspectives, you break people. Human health and human belonging aren't side projects. Our coast, our people, our community are the heart of a Mississippi Blue economy, and those interconnections are where our real resilience lies, like a tightly woven net. And so when we talk about inclusive innovation, we have so much that we can take advantage of on our coast, so much knowledge, so much history, so much power. Imagine the possibilities. Imagine a seafood legend pairing old world knowledge with new technology. Imagine fishing crews diversifying our palates. Imagine accessible technology, dialing in harvest patterns and locations, or preventing heat stress. Imagine a mobile health clinic docked at the marina. Imagine residential cooperatives that take advantage of the poles we are driving and the decks extending out of our waterways for new food systems. Imagine marine construction crews working alongside scientists to protect our shorelines. Every single one of these innovations works better when the people they aim to serve are part of the solution and not its collateral damage. And the good thing is, the best part is what we get out of it. We get good food that keeps us here for our grandchildren. We get thriving businesses that offer opportunities for the next generation. Connected communities that look out for one another. Even happy heart doctors finally seeing our blood pressure go down. Protecting legacy doesn't just help the vulnerable, it makes our entire system stronger. Which brings me back to the heart of the matter. If my neighbor is unwell, so am I. The pain of my neighbor being pushed out of the grave, being pushed out of the very industry they built and into the grave, is my pain. This is not just a moral statement, It's a structural truth. If the people harvesting your shrimp, building your dreams, or running your ports are sick, stressed, invisible, or convinced the future isn't for them, you don't have a sustainable blue economy. Human health and human belonging are not side projects. They are the foundation of innovation, resilience, and growth. And they are the seafloor of a blue economy that's built with our people, not over our people. So let's move forward as a collective of neighbors with a vision. A thriving Gulf Coast where seafood is abundant, the ocean is clean, and the people, especially those too often overlooked, are healthy, empowered, and leading the way. This requires us to turn a curse word back into a shared promise, one that honors legacy, invests in health, and ensures that blue-collar workers are at the helm of the industries they built. When your neighbor thrives, we all thrive. If your neighbor is unwell, then so are you. And when your neighbor thrives, we all thrive. Our coast, our community, our seafood, our resources are the beating heart of a Mississippi blue economy. And that is built for all of us. So I dock our journey here at my original principle. If my neighbor is unwell, so am I. And I am now calling on you to ask yourself, for yourself and all of us, how is your neighbor and what are you willing to do to help them thrive?